I'm sure many of you have been in this situation before. A new semester begins, and you decide to make a fresh start. This time around, you want to get good grades and make lots of friends. So with all that motivation, you hit the ground running. You study really hard for your upcoming exams and try to sit next to someone new at lunch. But then after just a few weeks, you start to fall into your old habits. Your grades begin to slip, and it seems like everyone is against you. Just when you think things can't get any worse, you get suspended from school. Now, not only are your grades ruined, but your parents are furious with you, and your dreams of having a happy second semester are crushed. Hey, don't be sad. Here's a girl who wrote on a tiny note and changed her whole life. She was once in a bad place just like you, but she managed to get out of it with a little help. Let's listen to her story and see what we can learn from it. In 2013, a young girl named Shania was getting bullied at school. She had no close friends and felt very lonely. She would always feel sick to her stomach every time she went to school, and even began having trouble sleeping. But these problems were nothing compared to what happened next. One day, Shania's mother caught her smoking behind the school. When she got home, her mom took away her phone and grounded her for 2 weeks. However, she was still allowed to go to school. When she told her friends about this punishment, they started making fun of her, which made her even more upset than before. All she wanted was to fit in, so she decided to do something crazy. She stole some money from her mom's purse and ran away from home without saying goodbye. She ran to the nearby shopping mall, where she knew there was a train that could take her to the city. When the police saw her stealing money from a donation box, they took her to a juvenile detention center instead of calling her parents. It wasn't long before Shania's parents came to the police station to look for her. They were furious about what she did, but they were too worried about her safety to say anything. In the end, they took her back home, but her father decided to send her to a boarding school far away from home. Shania missed her family and friends a lot, but she also didn't want to go back to her old school. So she agreed with her dad's plan. But soon, she started feeling depressed again. She didn't know anyone at her new school, so she spent most of her time alone. She started failing classes because she didn't care anymore. She had even given up on trying to make friends. The only thing that kept her going was the thought of being able to see her parents again during holidays. One day, she found out about an event held by the student council. It was called Write a Letter to Your Future Self. Students would write a letter describing their goals and aspirations, then seal it until graduation. Everyone who participated was encouraged to read the letter aloud during graduation. Shania thought this was a great idea, so she sat down to write a letter. As she wrote, she thought about how miserable she had been for a long time. She decided that if she could just get through high school, she would have a much better life. After writing about her goal of becoming a famous designer, she sealed the letter and handed it over to the teacher. Every time she passed by the classroom, she would sneak a peek at the box full of letters. However, she never dared to ask the teacher to open one. 4 years went by in the blink of an eye, and graduation day finally arrived. At the ceremony, many students shared their letters with the audience. Some were funny, some were serious. As the last student was reading her letter, Shania started to cry. Why? Because the letter was hers. No one had taken it yet. She walked onto the stage with trembling legs and took a deep breath. Then she began reading the letter she had written 4 years ago. The entire school was silent as they listened to her passionate voice. After she finished, the audience applauded loudly, and some people even cheered. Shania couldn't believe what had just happened. This was the first time she had ever shared her dreams with other people, and now they were supporting her. Shania's letter inspired many people that day. Her teachers even asked her to share the letter with them. After reading it, her homeroom teacher, Miss Miller, called her into her office. Miss Miller was very strict, but she had always been nice to Shania. so Shania was nervous about what she had to say. "I want to help you become the person you want to be," Miss Miller said. "You are a talented designer, Shania. Why don't you come to my office during lunch so we can work on your skills together?" Shania was shocked. She couldn't believe her teacher actually wanted to spend time with her. "Sure," she replied. "That sounds great." From then on, Shania began spending her lunches with Miss Miller. The two would talk about art while working on different design projects. Even though Miss Miller didn't know much about fashion, she gave Shania a lot of advice on color, composition, and style. Shania cherished these times because she finally had someone to talk to about her passion. One day, Miss Miller called Shania into her office and handed her a thick envelope. "This is for you," she said with a smile. "I think you should use it to further your studies." Shania opened the envelope to find a check for $10,000. Miss Miller explained that the check was from the Student Council. They had set up a scholarship fund to help students with their future education. Since Shania was the only one who had written a letter about studying design, she received the scholarship. Shania was moved to tears by Miss Miller's kindness. She knew her teacher was trying to help her follow her dreams. Miss Miller gave Shania another check for $1,000 and said, "This is for you to buy art supplies. I hope you will make good use of it." Shania hugged her teacher and thanked her for everything. With the scholarships, Shania enrolled in the design department of a prestigious university. Her dream was finally coming true. She studied hard and made lots of new friends. She even joined the school newspaper club and became a fashion reporter. Through her writing, she was able to tell other students about the latest trends and styles. After graduating, she started her own clothing company. Her designs were very unique and quickly became popular among young women. Not only was she successful in work, but she also had a happy family life. She often visited her parents and would call them whenever she had free time. She even introduced her boyfriend to them. Every year on graduation day, Shania would visit her old school and encourage students to participate in the "Write a Letter to Your Future Self" event. She would tell them, "Even if you're going through a tough time right now, your life can change for the better if you keep working towards your goals." Shania's story teaches us that no matter how difficult our current circumstances are, we can always improve them if we put our minds to it. If Shania hadn't run away from home, she might not have had the chance to meet Miss Miller. If she hadn't attended that boarding school, she might not have won that scholarship. Everything that happened in her life was like a stepping stone leading her to success. Shania's story also shows us the importance of helping others. Miss Miller could have easily ignored Shania, but she chose to help her anyway. Shania may have seemed like a troubled child to Miss Miller, but she never gave up on her. Instead, she provided Shania with guidance and support, which helped her become a better person. If you're feeling down right now, I hope Shania's story can give you some strength. Know that even if you're going through a tough time, things can and will get better. You just have to keep trying and never give up. So what's the moral of this story? No matter how difficult things are, never lose sight of your dreams. With hard work and determination, you can achieve anything. Also, always be kind to others because you never know when you might need their help. Right, kids? It's story time with Mr. Williams. Now I want you to write a letter to your future self. Imagine it's 10 years from now, and you've just graduated from college or gotten your first job. What kind of person do you want to be? Write down your goals and dreams and keep the letter somewhere safe. Then wait 10 years and see if you've achieved them. Maybe someday in the future, you'll even be able to share your story with others. Well, that's it for today's story. Thank you for watching and see you next time.